Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. So, before we dive into today's episode, which is all about Alexia, coming clean and kind of opening up about being blindsided and feeling very lost during her upcoming divorce from her husband, Todd. Did she really not see it coming? What's really going on? What's the deal? And I also have a couple of clips from her podcast with Marisol where she's sort of spilling the tea about what's going on. So before we dive in, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So with that, this is from page 6. And again, I do have the clips so we can listen to them in a little bit. Alexia admitted that she feels lost after estranged husband Todd filed for divorce after 3 years of marriage. For the first 2 weeks, actually, still today, it's been 3 weeks, and I'm still going back in my head like, what happened? The Real Housewives of Miami star 56 tearfully said on iHeartRadio's Ay Por Favor podcast on Monday. Alexia emphasized that she is a positive person and is trying to think about all of the beautiful times with Todd, including her beautiful trips with the businessman, as she grieves the loss of their marriage. This is the thing. Right now, I think Alexia is in shock and maybe a little bit of denial. Not denying that, he filed for divorce because clearly she knows that, but maybe denial as into why. They had been arguing. It was very tense. We could all feel it during the show. I always said I thought the reason why they weren't getting along was because of her sort of, unhealthy, again, this is just my opinion, unhealthy dynamic she has with her sons. It seems very enmeshed, very codependent, where it seemed like Peter really wanted her to, separate from her children. Obviously, still be a great mother, but let her children become adult men. Obviously, Frankie has, challenges, but to the best of his ability, be independent and, become his own person. And also, definitely Peter. And then I think whatever was going on in Todd's finances, there are questions around that, why they had to leave their apartment, why they were renting and not owning. There was a lot of tension there. So I think when it comes to your husband feeling emasculated in the marriage, that like you are married to your sons instead of him, and then when the wife feels like there's financial problem and strain, that's a recipe for disaster. So I think that she was probably in denial about how bad it was, and now it seems like she's in shock. So let's keep going. And my heart does go out to Alexia. Like, nobody wants to go through a divorce. It's not cute. It's not fun. So, yeah. She goes on to say, and I don't want to have any anger, but I understand that anger is also one of the grieving stages. Todd filed for divorce from Alexia earlier this month. That same day, the self-proclaimed Cuban Barbie took to social media to address the split. I am shocked and heartbroken that Todd has chosen to dissolve our marriage, she wrote via her Instagram story. I will take comfort in the fact that my friends and family will be by my side supporting me during this difficult time. Yeah. Poor thing. But I think like we all kind of, saw it coming. Alexia has been leaning on her Real Housewives of Miami's co-stars for support. She told fans at her first public appearance since the news of her separation broke. That's the beauty of our story, she explained during a drag bunch at the HK Hall in Manhattan's Hell's Kitchen. Even though we say things to each other that we don't like, at the end of the day, when I need them, they're there. I agree with that. I do think that in the upcoming season, I think that all the women, probably except for Adriana, because, yes, Marisol and Alexia has at times been sort of a mean girls to Adriana. I'm personally kind of tired of Adriana being so bitter and just so hateful towards them. Like, we get it, but like, let it go. Because there comes a point where you're the person who's actually in the right and you were wronged, but you hold on to it so long and you become so bitter that like you sour yourself. It's like having that hate in your heart and that bitterness. It's like you drink in the anger. It's like that saying where it's like you are angry at somebody else thinking that that's gonna kill them, but like you're the one really drinking the poison, or whatever the saying is. That's what I feel like has kind of happened to Adriana. She was in the right, but she's been so bitter about everything that she's poisoning herself. So I don't see Adriana really supporting Alexia, which is understandable, but at the same time, like, it's kind of time to like give it up and like focus on your own life a little bit. And then there was also like talks that like Adriana and Anna were like, oh yeah, they're just divorcing for a storyline for the next season. I don't think that's true. I do think that some housewives play with their relationships like that. And like, I think it's bad. I think once you start to like pretend to have fights and pretend to get divorced and pretend to split up for storyline, that usually becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that couple usually ends up splitting up or divorcing in real life, or people play like that. I think this is real. I think Todd has been very unhappy. I also think Alexia has been very unhappy. So we'll see what happens, you know. And I wonder what the prenup is like. Does he have the money? Does he not have the money? Does she want to protect her assets? You know, who knows? But let's keep going. She went on to say that fellow mojito holders Larsa Pippen and Julia were among the first to reach out. After my news broke about 2 weeks ago, Larsa was one of the first ones to call me after Julia. She said, everybody called me, texted me, they're all there for me. They check up on me. Honestly, that's what I love so much about our franchise. But let's hear it from the horse's mouth herself and watch 2 clips from her podcast.
For the first 2 weeks, actually still today, it's been 3 weeks and I'm still going back in my head, like, what happened?
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm a positive person, so I try to think about all the beautiful times that we had together, all of our beautiful trips. And I'm very positive, so I want to remember that, you know, and I don't want to have any anger, but I understand that anger is also one of the grieving stations. Stations, or I said sessions, sorry. One of
Stages.
Stages. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying.
It's okay.
Because I find myself like lost.
Yeah.
I still love him and like we love each other. It's not because we don't love each other, but it's just very sad that I guess we couldn't figure out a way, you know, to fix things.
Well,
and that's why I was in such shock, because I'm like a fighter. I fight.
Right. Well, somebody gave up. Someone gave up.
And I was never expecting that. You know, I thought things were good.
I wasn't either.
Right.
I really was.
And
super
so
surprised.
it's been really shocking and I'm devastated.
Ay, por favor. Yeah, my heart goes out to Alexia. She does seem genuinely in shock, blindsided, thought that things were going to be okay. I mean, I'm not shocked. Are you guys surprised? I feel like we all sort of really saw this coming. It was so tense. They were not faking it the whole time. Because I do think there's a difference between when a couple is pretending to be happy when they're not, for the show and for the cameras and for storyline, versus a couple who's actually going through it, but they're pretending like for themselves. And I feel like that's more of pretending more for like themselves. Like they were actually in denial. They were actually, you know, going through the motions. That's why she's so genuinely shocked. I want to know what the final straw was. I want to know if he sort of like, I think they probably were fighting. They weren't happy. Things got really bad. I think the moment he made up his mind that he was going to divorce her, I bet you things did get better, because usually when somebody knows that they're about to leave, there will be a period of peace because they're no longer fighting, like she said. So I wonder what happened there, and I wonder if it's going to play out, because I don't think they're filming right now. So what do you guys think about this? What do you think about Alexia, you know, being blindsided and shocked by Todd filing for divorce? Do you think this is going to play out in the next season? You know, do you think everyone is going to be there for her and how everything goes down? I'm guessing Adriana won't be. She didn't say anything about her, but she's probably not even thinking about her. So as always, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. And before you do that, be sure to like, subscribe, and share.